parents, and everyone who's watching on our Scala Victoria Plus YouTube channel. We are Laura and Chintra from Grade 10 Andromeda. This afternoon, we'd like to show what we achieved after months of hard work. To start, we welcome Ibu Budi, our MYP coordinator, to say a few words.
Hi! This year is our second online personal project exhibition. Living in a more digital and virtual life is considered as a new normal, and it gives us more opportunity to sharpen our creativity and resiliency. On this opportunity, I would like to congratulate all of the exhibition participants who have overcome the challenges. I also would like to express my gratitude to all supervisors for the hard work and for the school managements for the support. This is our personal project exhibition. Enjoy it.
Thank you, Bu Budi, for your guidance throughout the personal project process. Now, without further ado, here are the 2021-2022 MYP personal project.
Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about my personal project, which is building my own personal computer. My goal and product outcome is to create a personal computer that fulfills my specifications and that can be used for school, playing games, and other daily necessities, and to also understand and to go in depth of how computers work from the inside. My global context is scientific and technical innovation. This relates with my goal because I'm trying to understand and know how each part of my computer works together to bring life to the computer. My personal interests. Learning to be independent. By building a PC, I can learn to become an independent person. This is because I challenged myself to work on this project all by myself with no help at all. And whenever there is a technical issue with my PC, I don't need to call tech support because I am my own tech support. I built this PC from scratch, so I should understand and know how to troubleshoot my own PC and fix whatever is wrong with it. Building a PC is not a simple task. Some might say it is easy, but there are a lot of things that needs to be considered when building a PC. Compatibility, part specifications, picking the right parts, especially on a budget. This is why researching and learning how each part works is an important aspect of building a PC. I didn't build a PC overnight. I planned to make a PC for my personal project since 9th grade. I've always wanted to have a more powerful computer that can multitask, so making it my personal project was the best excuse. Here are just some of the many research I've conducted during my PC building project. Because I had already prior knowledge of building PCs before the PP, I didn't go overboard with my research. A lot of my research was based off YouTube videos. I am a visual learner, so watching videos and seeing how people build their computers was extremely helpful. To know which parts were the bang for my buck kinds of parts, I had to go to a computer parts store to ask the employees and briefly interview them on which parts were the best for my budget of 17 million rupiah and how to actually build a PC. They were also nice enough to show me a brief process of how an actual PC is built. Sadly, I didn't get to record it. So as I prepared for my PC build, these videos helped me a lot throughout the process of selecting the right parts for my budget and step-by-step guide to assembling the computer. I watched a lot more videos on PCs, but these ones helped me the most. These are some of the ATL skills I have come across during my project. Research skills. Being able to source the right articles, videos, and interviewees to help build my computer. Thinking skills. Critically thinking to solve problems when and after building the computer. These are my PC specs. This is the build process. This is the finished product. Criteria. The first one is quality of the PC. Minimal cables are seen and neat cable management is in the back panel. Everything should be installed in the right places. Able to play games with a resolution of 1080p and use Google Meet with ease. The components that are used are under my budget and can last at least 5 years and can easily be future-proofed for future upgrades. Skill of building. Able to build the computer with no help from anyone, research only, and must overcome any problems that might occur when and after building the project. Throughout the journey and progress of my project, I have learned a lot about troubleshooting. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means taking a systematic approach to solving a particular problem. During my build process, I came across multiple problems. An example of this problem is when the Windows software was unable to be updated, which caused multiple internal problems when using the PC. To solve this problem, I had to test out every solution possible, one by one, until I found the right solution. This is the same with real-life issues. When we come across a problem, we find a systematic or logical approach to find the right solution. That is all for my presentation. Thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Leonard Satria Suharjo. Welcome to my video. In this video, we're going to talk about my personal project, process, and product, which is creating a website from scratch by coding. Here are the parts we are going to discuss, starting from background, followed by aerial skills, followed by product review, and lastly, we got reflection. Background. Since a young age, I've been a huge fan of technology. Starting from simple technology that made human daily life simpler, such as mechanical pen, to sophisticated technologies such as artificial intelligence, radar, missiles, and etc. This motivates me to learn and explore more about this field, where then I will apply this and implement this in my personal project. During the process of my personal project, I have some learning targets to be achieved. First is to understand how a website works. The second thing I want to learn is to know how to create a website from scratch by coding, which means I will be able to code a website using a programming language, which is HTML and CSS combined with a little bit of JavaScript. And third is to improve my overall programming skills and experience, which will help me in my future career as computer engineer. Next, we got our product goal. My product goal is to create an informative website that contains information about kinds of tourism spots and, in example, Indonesia. Later on, this website will be helpful on helping people and giving people insight and knowledge about tourism potentials in Indonesia. Ideal skills. The first ideal skills I applied and learned in my personal project is research skills. I applied this skill first is by creating a research plan, where this research plan will help me on guiding me through my research process. The second application of research skill is by applying OPVL for the sources I used during my learning process. OPVL itself stands for Origin, Proposed, Value, and Limitations, where this method will help people on understanding more their search sources. Third way of implementation of my research skills is by understanding and implementing intellectual property rights, where I cite the resources I used properly and notify the owner of each resources. The second ideal skills I learned during my PP process is self-management skills. I applied this first by creating timeline for my product for both short-term goals and long-term goals. This timeline will be helpful on guiding me to stay on the track. The second implementation is by setting challenging and realistic goals, and the third is by applying technology effectively and productively, such as by using task planners, apps, and screen time apps. The next ideal skill I applied during my PP process is my critical thinking skills. First, through observing and understanding problems I met during the process, and second is by applying effective learning methods such as grading in notes. for my learning. So here's our final product review, and so let's jump into it. So as we can see, this is my final product of my personal project, which is a website called Vicrtorians, Exploring Indonesia Tourism Potential. And as I said earlier in this video, this website will contain information about kinds of Indonesia tourism spots and their examples. So let's take a quick tour of my website. So let's now jump into the reflection part. Reflection of my self-development. Overall, this project has taught me a lot of things. This total project has also remembered me of a quote from Thomas Huxley, which says, "Try to learn something about everything and everything about something." Which means that everything is learnable as long as we have the will to do it, and we shall not waste the chance to learn something new every day in our life. I guess that's all from my video. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Well, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura from Grade 10 Andromeda. Let me present to you my personal project. These are the table of contents. I'll explain to you about my personal interests, learning and protocol, skill that was being applied in the project, the process, the product outcome, and lastly, reflection. And yeah, let's get to know me better. These are my hobbies and my personal interests. I love to do something related to fashion, and it happened since I was a kid. I also love to bake, and well, I love to dance for sure. It's something fun to do, right? And those are my personal interests, and that's how I express myself. The title for my personal project is Fold Daily for the Future Earth. Fold Daily stands for foldable bag that you use daily, that could help Earth keep healthy until then. Let's start with my goals. I divide it into two, which are learning and product goal. My learning goal is that I want to learn more about designing a product and the process itself. I want to challenge my creativity, and I want to be part of taking care of the environment starting from small things like this. Meanwhile, for my product goal is that I will be able to design eco-friendly bags that will make teenagers use it for their daily life and also as their fashion style. Talk about ATL or skills being used in this project. Firstly is criteria aspects on achieving my goals, which part of research skill. I have to do many research to get many pieces of information and ideas. Secondly, OPVL, product ideas and goals, which part of thinking critically skill. By thinking critically, I could give complete explanation for each piece of information. Third, making timeline, which develop my self-management skill to managing my time and the tasks to keep on track and productive. Well, I did many research to help me finding information to make this project happen, such as making research questions, which to make us know what we don't understand, research plan, which help us to structure our research, and this chart shows the result of my survey from the target audience. Next, here are the process of making the product. Well, it's not that simple as the picture looks. I designed the bag with my own creativity. I'm doing research, planning, editing until the shoots is by my own, but there are some people who help me for this project. But yeah, I enjoy every single step. And here's the product. I post this on my Instagram to inspire others. And here's the proof that the product is waterproof. Strong because it can contain laptop and book, so it's very useful. And it's also very practical because you guys can just put it inside your pocket. And if you want to use it, you guys can just open it. So that's simple. So it's very practical to use. This project helped me a lot to be more a creative person, more understand perspectives and emotions, also be more appreciate time. To close my explanation, I will show you a video about my product and the purpose of it. So happy watching! By me, Laura. I want to inspire the new generation to do the same by distributing foldable bags that are environmentally friendly and believed to be able to solve problem of plastic waste. I designed a foldable bag with my own creativity by including the theme of filling into it. I chose to voice my feelings of insecurity and confidence with this foldable bag. And from now, you guys can also make your own version. Share it to social media so that it becomes a trend that helps the earth to recover. Let us end plastic waste and replace it with healthier ones to trade the earth together. For me and for you, Earth. How's the video? If you want to watch the longer version, you guys can check out on my Instagram. It's on the Reels. Here's for the feedback form. I really need your help to fill in this form, and I'm sure it would not take too long. So make sure to fill it, guys. Just scan it. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you get inspired from my personal project. Please love yourself and the earth. Thank you, everyone.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my presentation on my personal project from 2021 to 2022. The title of my personal project is AI Composition, and without further ado, let's get started. My goal for this project is to create a short album using artificial intelligence. Using a specific AI, I could generate new songs in the style of artists that I look up to. This proved to be quite a challenge for me since I had no experience with any sort of AI in the past, so I had to figure things out step by step. The global context that relates to my personal project is personal and cultural expression. This goal of mine stems from a personal interest in music. I believe that music could define a person's personality and characteristics. Just by knowing their favorite songs, artists, or genres could give you a deeper perspective on their character. Furthermore, music is a passion of mine, so I use the chance to express my taste in music through my product. I also want to highlight the intelligence in artificial intelligence. As for my research, I mostly followed YouTube tutorials since I had virtually no experience with any type of artificial intelligence whatsoever. This type of research proved to be the most reliable method in order to produce my product. However, I also had to figure out several things myself to make the AI actually work, since I couldn't find much information on any websites nor videos. The downside of not having the necessary information required to proceed with creating my product actually helped me develop my critical thinking skill, since I had to decipher how several parts of the AI work myself. And from that, I had a deeper understanding and familiarity with the AI, as well as the artists I was referencing for my product. I also used a Discord server specific to that AI, where I would look through the channels and figure out if there are any solutions to any errors I face. As I planned my personal project, I began to set some criteria and specifications that I would reach. Those include the number of songs ranging from 6 to 7, a varied style of songs, the song must include instrumentation and vocals, and the song must be satisfactory to listen to. I believe that I have achieved most of these goals, but the last one may vary from person to person. Along with these specifications, I also list out a timeline in order to smoothly decide when I'm going to do certain things and when. When generating my final product, I of course use an AI that has already been pre-programmed. In order to actually create the song that I want to create, I change some text among the code, including the artist, the length of the song, the genre of the song, and the lyrics. As for the lyrics, I use an AI to generate them. Then, after all the necessary text has been written down, I simply ran the AI and waited around 8 to 12 hours for the final song to be produced. With this specific AI, it can generate 5 songs for me to choose from, and I chose the best sounding one out of the batch, but kept the rest in a separate file. For the final product, I decided that I would use the artists Nirvana, The Beatles, Elton John, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Pink Floyd, and Foo Fighters to base the songs off of. The reason I chose these artists was quite simple. They were my main inspiration, and I'm a fan of their work. With this song in the album, I was more impressed with the AI. I was quite surprised at how close it managed to stick to the thoughts of the specific artist, and in several cases managed to replicate their voice, especially Dave Grohl's voice from the Foo Fighters as well as Elton John. After the album is finished, I made a simple and minimalistic album cover with the title Artificial, and edited the info of the song in Groove Music to make the appropriate descriptions such as tracklist, genre, title, and artist. Although technically speaking, the actual quote-unquote artist of the songs is the AI, I gave credit to the respective artists from whom they are based off of, and this is also to tell the listeners which song is based off of which artist. As for the title, I made them up after listening to the song. I will play a short snippet of my favorite song from the album called Inner Turmoil, based on the Foo Fighters. And whilst you are hearing it, do keep in mind that I had virtually no involvement with the songwriting process, such as the melody, chords, nor instrumentation present in the song. I merely changed some text, and that's it. Now, enjoy this short snippet.
I'll be
And that is all for my presentation. The entire process of creating my product is quite simple if you get the hang of it, and I believe that anyone could generate a song of their own if they have the required equipment. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I hope you all find it as fascinating as I did. If there's one thing that I want you all to get out of this, is that music is a key factor in defining who you are.
Hello everyone, my name is Treya from Grade 10 Andromeda, and now I'm going to explain a little bit about my personal project. So, my personal project is about criminology. I am making a blog about the increasing number of juvenile crimes in Indonesia during the pandemic. I think this is an important thing to discuss because juvenile crimes can be caused by a lot of things, mostly because of society, lack of attention from parents or family problems, promiscuity, and many more. To make this project, I have conducted interviews with both psychologists and police officers. This is because a psychologist can study human brain and they can determine the cause and effect for the situation by studying the children's behavior. The ATL skills that I have developed when making this project are my research skills, time management skills, and my communication skills. So now I will explain a little bit about the process in making my personal project. I have collected my informations using both primary and secondary research. The primary research method is my interview with the psychologist and the police officer. And the secondary research method is my data collection from trusted websites regarding the information that I will put in my blog. You can see the photo and videos of my blog in this video. The aim for this project is to create awareness, mostly to parents, because this is a very serious problem. It is mostly started with toxic friend relationship, family problems, and etc. Especially in this pandemic, if children get lack of attention from parents, it can cause them to commit crime. I hope that this project can help a lot of parents and children who might be facing these situations. And I hope the information in this project can be useful for me as well. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my personal project and what went into it. To start, we have the project details, which includes personal interest, learning interest, product goal, and global context. Firstly, we have the personal interest. I wanted to do something that is fun to me but also interesting while making me learn about a new thing in a process. For my learning interest, I wanted to broaden my skills in art and learn more about mental health, two topics that I am very interested in. Next up is the product goal. I wanted to make an original animation with original characters, a story that can teach other people about topics that might be overlooked in normal life, and in a more interesting way, in this situation, about burnout. And the global context that appears in my personal project is identities and relationships. Next up is the investigation and research. First, we have my prior knowledge. For this, I've actually made some short animations before, albeit unfinished, so I do know the basics on how to do it. I've also learned how to edit in Premiere, and I know how to use it effectively. And finally, my own personal experience in drawing and making art. For the research itself, I've read websites and articles to educate me on burnout, and this is where I got most of the information on burnout, from how it's caused, its effects, and how we can help other people who are experiencing it. I also interviewed one of my friends that had experienced burnout to ask her about her personal experience with it. And I also took inspiration from other animations that I find very interesting and that I wanted to emulate in my own final product. Next up, we have the planning and taking action. For the planning, I make sure to make a timetable and success criteria that I want my animation to follow. Then, we have my actions in making the personal project itself. To start, every story needs a storyline. This is where you brainstorm and come up with the story or script of your animation. Next up is character design. This is where you come up and finalize the designs for your characters in your story. Next up, we have storyboarding. This is where I turn the story into actual drawings. It helps me prepare a clear outline for developing the actual animation and how I want the final scenes to actually look like. Here, I have some of the earlier drafts. Even though most of it was unused in the final product, some elements will still appear. Then, you have the actual animation, which includes line art and coloring. And finally, we have audio design. I decided to not add any voices or spoken dialogue into my product as a stylistic choice, but also as a small challenge for me to see if I can still convey the message just through the animation and action. And after doing all of that, we have the final product. I think the most important thing that this personal project has taught me is time management and patience. Without both, I don't think that I could have finished this. But with that said, overall, I believe that I did an adequate job on my personal project. There are, of course, things that I would change if I had the chance, but I still think that I managed to get my point across. And that's my experience with personal project. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello guys, today I'm gonna do some presentation about my PP, which is building my own mechanical keyboard. Introduce me first. My name is Alvin, and I will tell you about show you about my PP. So talking about my interests, I've been always living side by side with technology since I was a kid, starting with technology that help human in daily life and others. Talking about technology, when I was a kid, I liked to play video games on my personal computer, and for using the PC, you gonna need a keyboard to use it. Since that, I have an interest on my keyboard by buying a bunch of different types of keyboard. So I was thinking, why do I need to spend money on buying a keyboard while I can make a custom made my keyboard based on what I like with different variant parts. And at the beginning of 2019, I start to know about this mechanical keyboard, and I'm having the interest to build it on my own. But the parts that were needed to build mechanical keyboard were expensive at that time due to the shipping from outside of Indonesia, and many parts were still rare. But now comes to my personal project, I have decided to build my own custom keyboard. So my goal is for this project is to inquire into the system and the method of assembly involved in a keyboard, and applying the knowledge in assembling the fully functional mechanical keyboard. So the global context that I use in my PV is scientific and technical innovation system, because I want to know further more about the innovation systems about the technology. So in this research part, I use my own cousin to interview because he knows more about keyboard parts than I know, and I'm also like new to do the building a custom mechanical keyboard. So I asked my cousin what are the best advice to build a mechanical keyboard, and I'm using a budget around 2 million, and this is what they say, which shown in the picture. And not only I asked my cousin, I do some research with watching some YouTube videos from some keyboard experts. There are a lot of video that guide me to build a perfect mechanical keyboard. So the ATL skills that I'm using is about thinking skill, research skill, and self-management skill. So thinking skills it helped me to solve more my problem in building the mechanical keyboard. Research skill it's helped me to guide more and help me to succeed on building my keyboard, and self-management skill is help me to follow the timeline on based what I've planned to build the keyboard perfectly. The success criteria I have is first is the function. So of course the mechanical keyboard was able to use perfectly and works functionally without error. And the aesthetic is the results of my mechanical keyboards need to be showing good look and high visual quality based on what I planned. For the documentary, I will create a short of video of how I build the mechanical keyboard. And sound, of course, the sound for mechanical keyboard is must be satisfied with based on my preference. So the reflection is in this project I was able to learn more and improve the ideal skill, which I was able to follow the timeline and improve on my research skill regarding to keyboard parts. And this project helped me to do critical thinking to solve problems that I face. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Audrey, and I'm from 10 Andromeda. Today, I'm going to tell you about my personal project, the key to McDonald's success. For my personal project, I chose to explore my love for business, specifically the marketing aspects of it, and correlate that with my favorite food, McDonald's. For years, I have been waiting for a chance for me to delve into one of the things I know I will want to be a part of when I grow up. And I thought this was a perfect chance for me to start on that journey and fill my curiosity on how my favorite restaurant became one of the most successful franchises on the industry. The learning goals I set for this project was to understand the history of McDonald's, to understand the importance of marketing in a business, and to understand how marketing can affect a business and how a successful company like McDonald's uses it to skyrocket their business. For my product, I chose to make a video essay, which I think is one of the easiest ways to convey and show the information I want to present to the audience. During the making of this project, the ATL skills I applied were research skill, communication skills, and creative thinking skills. In this project, I had to use a lot of my research skills in finding the information on marketing aspects of business and how it has affected the rise of a very successful company. And I had to research ways for the visuals I wanted to use to represent the information I've gathered. Communication skills. In making the script and recording the audio, I noticed I had to use my communication skills in delivering the message to the watcher in a way that will make sense to them and and they can easily understand. Creative thinking skills. In the editing process of making the video essay, there were new editing techniques and a few things I needed to make connect well with each other, like clips, stock videos, and matching it with the audio. So it would look entertaining and captivating to the audience while also cooperating with the mech. A preview of the video. This project, After finishing this project, I've reflected back on how this after finishing this project, I've reflected back on how this project has helped me. This project has helped me in figuring out what I really enjoy as a person and what would want to continue doing in the future. When making research for this project, I found some challenges along the way, and it made me realize what I needed to do to improve in order to later achieve my goals. I learned how to manage my time better since I knew I needed time to make the script, prepare the visuals, record, and edit the video. This also made an improvement on my research skills and how to conduct a proper depth research, and send a message through the media to people in a way that is efficient. Lastly, it improved the way I think creatively. I needed to gather clips and pictures that can represent the information I was trying to convey, and edit it with a simple arrangement but also interesting for the audience.
Hello everyone, I am Emma from Grade 10 Andromeda, and today I would like to present to you my personal project. So first, let's start with the personal interest. My personal interest that I centered my project on is psychology, an area of study that I find myself very interested in. Though psychology itself is a very broad subject, so I decided to focus on mental health. Mental health has been an issue that has been brought up many times and is one of the things I am curious about. I'm specifically curious about the stigma around it, how it happens, and why it becomes an issue. I also tied it in with the media as I think it is something that greatly influences our lives and opinions. So, my goal with this project was to learn more about the history of mental health and the stigma around it, the ways entertainment media and news media portray it, and how these portrayals affect those who experience mental health issues and the stigma around it. And as for my product, the goal was to create a video essay that outlines how mental health is portrayed in entertainment or news media, and how it may affect those who experience mental health issues and the stigma around it. Basically, create a video that covers all the things I have learned through my research. Now, throughout the process of conducting this project, I applied several of the ATL skills. Firstly, I applied research skills and thinking skills when creating the script. Before creating the script, of course, I first had to do my research. In the research process, I created several broad topics to then branch out to more questions and place them in a table to easily organize the information. My sources were mainly secondary as they were academic journals, articles, and websites. From this information, I was then able to create a script and made sure that there is information supporting what I say in the video. I also used communication skills in this project because through my video, my main goal was to communicate information and a message to inform the audience about the stigma surrounding mental health. Furthermore, I also used self-management skills throughout the personal project, as it was an important skill that I needed to have so that I could complete the product on time without overwhelming myself. And to organize myself, I made a timeline, and even though sometimes I can't follow the plan perfectly, I was able to reorganize myself and made another plan in order to finish the project on time. From binge watching your favorite shows to getting a glimpse to what is going on the other side of the world. We have always revolved around the media. Information has been pouring into our heads, ever present in our daily lives, and we, as the consumers, have always been affected by it. Choices are being affected, opinions are being swayed, and views are getting shaped, including the view on our topic for today, mental health. I think that this project has helped me a lot and taught me on how to manage my own projects that come from myself rather than the school. The topic itself was something that I wanted to explore more about, and because of that, the whole process was very enjoyable. The research specifically was the most interesting to me because it broadened my knowledge in something that I thought I knew quite well. An example being the history of mental health. I also found myself improving my self-management skills more, as this project really required me to develop my own plan that I will have to follow if I want to complete it on time. I also learned more about video editing and what is it like to create a video essay, which is something I wanted to try out for quite a while and I am very inexperienced in. Overall, I learned a lot from this experience, and though there are plenty of things I would like to improve on, I think that I'm quite proud of the outcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Karin, and let me introduce you to my personal project. I'm gonna start with my personal interest and goal. It all started with my hobby, which is watching movies. My favorite movie genre are action and history, which brings me into this movie called Suffragettes. This movie talks about the movement for women in early 20th century. This is how I come up with the idea of making timeline as my product. My goal are becoming this timeline into an educational platform to learn the history of women, appreciating and remembering their struggle in the past. Other than that, my timeline explains why me, as a girl, resist the statement of women and men will never be on the same level. The global context related to my product is identities and relationships. I think of this because the list of women I wrote on my timeline were always looking for themselves and help others. After deciding what I want to make, I started my research on September 2021. And to make a fixed and perfect planning, I created a Google Doc since the first day I started the research. I put everything I need to do and what I plan to do in a Google Docs. And the planning were my goal, dates of deadlines, title, number of slides, theme, list of names, years, pictures, and how the descriptions should be. Last thing is creating a list of what should I do on what dates. These lists also help me to reach relevant success criteria on my product. 4 the ATL skills that I achieved from this project are research skills and self-management skills. I achieved research skills by creating a planning document as I was mentioned before. Inside the planning document, I list down some questions that I might need for making the timeline. And last thing is references. I searched up an example of history timeline that will help me on the process. While doing that, I also achieved the self-management skills. I always made up some list on the reminder of my phone. Reflection, impact of the project on me. I understand how hard it is to manage time. I have to be more creative and think of a solution quickly and precisely. And of course, get to know more about women's history. Evaluate the product based on success criteria strand 2. I successfully include all year line, informational descriptions, clear pictures, created an interesting title, and last but not least, I successfully created a simple theme and cover. And here's my final product review. You can check out the rest of the timeline on blogger.com. To make it easier, you could click the link on the description or on my Instagram bio. You could check my username on the screen. I really appreciate your time for listening. Thank you!
Hi everyone, my name is Chinta from 10 Andromeda, and I will be presenting my personal project. My goal is to promote plant-based eating for a cleaner environment and health through representing my culture, identity, and my interest in food and culinary. I enjoy eating and trying new food and cuisines wherever I travel. I also consume animal-based products on a regular basis, but to my surprise, I discovered that animal agriculture had a significant negative impact on our environment. I'd like to reduce my consumption of animal products, and I would like to encourage others as well. I discovered that many of the meals I ate frequently as an Indonesian are plant-based and is just as tasty as animal-based food. Therefore, I created an information cookbook of plant-based Indonesian recipes. The cookbook itself consists of a day meals such as breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack. The two global contexts of my project is globalization and sustainability because the content of the cookbook promotes sustainable plant-based eating and reducing animal product consumption, thus relates and benefits to the environment around us. The second one is personal and cultural expression because the recipes I use in this cookbook are Indonesian recipes, which is a way to represent my ethnicity as an Indonesian. Applying the ATL. The ATL that I developed during the making of this project is research and self-management skills. In my research process, the first thing that I did was writing down the 4 research questions that I will put as the main idea of the information content for my cookbook. For the primary research, I read tons of trusted websites and articles, as well as comparing and contrasting the research outcome, and lastly, collecting my resources and saving them in my personal journal in ManageBack. The next thing I did was researching about the recipes. I conducted a secondary research by asking my mom and aunt about the recipes I would like to put in the cookbook. I called and texted my aunt via WhatsApp and asked my mom questions regarding the recipes during the cooking process. As for the criterias, I used some of the criterias in AccessFM. I focus mainly on functions, aesthetics, and audience. During the process of making my product, I first planned the recipes I want to cook and develop, the process, ingredients, fun facts I would like to share, as well as the planning for the digital cookbook itself, which includes cover designs, font choices, color schemes, and many more. I then started cooking the recipes, took pictures of it, and composed the cookbook itself. Composing process is the longest and the hardest. It took a few weeks to complete since I composed it manually without a cookbook template. Finally, after the product is complete, I saved it into PDF form and converted it into a digital flipbook. And here is my final product. You can also scan this QR code for the final product. There are several things I learned from this project. Firstly, I discovered various ways to cook vegetables because it's more than just simply salad. Secondly, how to promote plant-based eating without being forceful but educational. Thirdly, I improved my self-management skills and learned the importance of time management. And lastly, I developed my cooking skills and learned to use traditional kitchen utensils like cobek and ulkan.
Hello everyone, this is my presentation and my video about my personal project, which is making a website or a blog about of viruses and COVID-19. So to begin with, to explain all about the personal project, is that my personal interest is biology and microbiology. So that's why that leads me to be interested into making this product. For the learning goal, my learning goal is to how to communicate and share information of viruses and COVID-19 to the public in a way that doesn't cause fear or panic. So and to fully understand the inner workings of a virus so that I can convey those information correctly. For the product goal is similar to the learning goal, to create a blog or a website that is readable to the general public and or audience, and I need to explain it in a way that doesn't cause fear or panic, or so I need to do it in a overall casual tones for the text, for the audience. So for the ATL on about how to I applied the ATL for the research skills, I tended to use more research skills, or I used more research skills for this personal project. Is I used information literacy, which is I'm able to collect and record and verify data. I'm able to access information to be informed and inform others, and make connections between various sources of information. So I have a lot of sources, and I need to compare them, to verify them, to make sure they're consistent and correct. And for the thinking skills, I think a little bit of critical thinking. To in this context, it is important for me to recognize unstated assumption and bias. So I need to make it unbiased, to complete the entire goal of making this for the general public and to inform the public and to interpret data, basically. And for the summary of research, Mostly I just use secondaries research skills. I but I wanted to make it. I wanted to to make sure that it's trusted and reliable. So I keep searching and searching. So I used a government website, NCBI, and I use Harvard HMMSC, and I use Britannica, and a lot of other minor websites. But these are the ones that are I'm 100% sure are reliable, and some I use YouTube videos, but I always try to search verify their um, sources, and I also compare to make sure that they're consistent and correct. Um, for the how I applied the for the criteria, I set up I set up some criteria for the blog, which is career blog that has at least 3 sections. And initially I have like these three options, but I eventually went with Blogger because that's the most usable and convenient. And have to um, each sections have to have some kind of heading or some kind of picture or visualization to to illustrate the my the point and to get my point across. um, and then also to about those 3 sections, there are section 1, which is the introduction, and was at least like it's at least the introduction and what is COVID in general. But there's a note, or I guess a note for myself here, which is um, what is contained between these sections can be changed over time, as long as like can be changed over time, can be added on, or uh, the placements of these in each section can be changed. But the most important part is that the blog or the website has at least 3 sections to explain my or to get my point across. um yeah now now that we're here, I'm here to explain the quality of the product, or the outcome, what I have right now. Now, what I have right now is not. I'm not as happy with it, but the quality is acceptable. It's it fulfills most of the criteria. It has some pictures. It has introduction. It has 3 sections. It explains things in a more casual tone. It's not super scientific or anything, but it's enough that it doesn't. But it's enough that it's correct, or it's correct while being in a casual tone. So I'm trying to get that blend of a professional and not professional. So it's I guess it has that friendly, less intimidating tone to the audience. I and then I'm able to explain things sort of well. And yeah, but but yeah, my main issue is that I don't have enough pictures or visualizations, and I need to really get into detail for the COVID stuff. But for the most part, like the casual tone and how to get my point across, I think I got it right, or at least I got it mostly right. For the reflection, what did I learn? Uh, I learned the inner workings of COVID-19. I know the history. I learned about the history. I learned about how viruses exactly work, like the inner workings of a virus. I learned, and then uh, about myself. I'm very willing to acknowledge that the product's quality is not as not as good as I have wanted it to. But um, I just need to accept that and do better next time, because there's a lot of improvements that I need to do with the product. But I guess for now, it is what it is, and I need to manage my time better. I need to you know uh, to be more consistent, be more diligent, and to actually follow my schedule properly, like step by step by step, and be consistent about it. And about the topic, yeah, it's similar to what did I learn. Like I I learned about the spread history and how it works basically. And about making a blog, well, I learned how to I learned how to use Blogger, and I have learned to how to make a blog that is pleasant to read, that is readable to the audience, that is somewhat pleasant to read, and not intimidating with all the complex and scientific words. So I need, again, the casual tone for the product. So thank you for listening, and this was my video.
Everyone, my name is Jennifer Fanilajaya, intern Nomada, and this is my presentation about my personal project. My personal interest in this project is digital drawing and visual art. My learning goal is how to create an easy guideline for artists and non-artists alike that can be followed easily. My product goal is about a blog full of devices about how to do anatomy, shading, as well as coming up with ideas. My writing leads more to casual and relaxed tone since art is something you should have fun with. With summary of research. For research, I went to a lot of internet platforms such as Pinterest, YouTube, and Instagram. These apps are what I personally use to find art advice on other artists' works. I watch them, then study them. After that, I keep notes on what I should talk about. The criteria I've used for this project is time management skills, as I have to create my own art that can take up to 4 to 12 hours. Research skills, as I have to look up into different apps to look for more information that I can use. My reflection is, as I went through my research, I also learned valuable lessons to improve my drawing skills, having to change my way of writing since I have never wrote a blog before, improving my time management skills since I have to write and draw at the same time. Here's the preview of the final product, which is the blog. And thank you for your patience.
We hope you enjoyed seeing and watching what we produced. If you'd like to watch them again, please visit our website as shown here. And if possible, give us some feedback by completing the Google form provided below the video. To the entire audience, our parents, supervisors, and experts who have supported us from the very beginning of the program, we hope you enjoy our showcase. Thank you so much and see you next time!